Now I'm going to ask Glenn Carrick to come up, and I'll just read a little bit on him. He has lived in central Alberta his whole life and has been a resident of Innisfail for over 30 years. He is a business owner in the oil and gas industry and has been in the fire and medical field for 25 years, including Innisfail Volunteer Department and the city of Red Deer. Glenn is a family man and is committed to his and surrounding communities. He organized and led the convoy to Ottawa in 2019 to fight for our oil and gas industry. Glenn is a former councillor and member of the Liberty Canada and the Lockdown Caucus. He is currently running for mayor in Innisfail. Glenn is not afraid to stand up for Canadian rights and freedoms. Let's please welcome Glenn Carrick.
Hello, Sundre! Are we at a rally? Let's get pumped up. Let's hear those cowbells. I just saw on my phone, first of all, I want to thank Sean, great speech. I want to thank Mountain View Freedom Rallies for putting on this event. I just saw on my phone that there's a new quadruple variant. Oh, no. Here's the scary part. It's coming straight from Ottawa. Yeah. Hey, Sean talked about different levels of comfort. And I have a theory that we all have different levels of comfort. Some people are fighting, yelling at the TV and frustrated with the TV and sitting on their couch. And that's fine, as long as you're looking at both sides of the story and seeing. Other people want to get out and they want to phone people and they want to talk and they want to get involved. And then there's us. And judging by the size of us and the people in this crowd, we're growing and we're strong. Let's give ourselves a hand. We need to be proud of what we're doing. So I joined the End of Lockdown Caucus with Randy Hillier. I don't know if you follow Randy Hillier. He says, pull the Band-Aid off. Let's open up. Let's be Florida. Let's be Texas. Let's be South Dakota. And let's open up our businesses and let's get back to work. Derek Sloan, another great guy, speaks his mind. And I will be on any council, anything in Alberta, and I'll always speak my mind and I'll always stand up for the people, and that's where we need to go to with municipal government, with all levels of government. If we can't come and walk in here and talk to people and find out what's going on, and they want to stifle our voices, we've got a big problem. We need to be able to talk to the people and find out what's going on in our country. So we all know a year ago this didn't, we all thought, it didn't smell right. We're not sure, but we're going to comply. We're going to go along because it could have been Ebola, it could have been the Spanish flu, it could have been whatever. But we're not 2 weeks into this anymore. No. It's a year later. It's time to take our freedoms back, and it's time to do it as we want to do it, by having functions. Guys like Ty Northcott that's having a rodeo next month, end of next month. Let's give a big hand for him. He's going out and he's going to run his rodeo, and we want to support him. Come out and support him. This is the things to do. I've always stood up for small business, and one that really stood up for and that I'm really proud of this young lady is Natalie Klein, and she's here in the audience right now. I want you to give her a big, big round of applause. Blades to Fade. She runs a little barbershop in Innisfail, Alberta, and this young lady had the courage to stand up to the government tyranny and to take back her livelihood. And what choice does she have? I said then, it's either survival or stay locked down, and we can't stay locked down. We got to keep moving forward. As I said, when they first came out with this, they said the death toll was X. Well, then we found out that death toll didn't add up, because we see that death toll is the same in 2019 as it was 2020, right? So then let's roll out the cases, right? PCR test we know is flawed. The variant, it's absolutely flawed, and they keep telling us cases. Now they've got the, as I said, the quadruple variant. So when are they going to stop? The only way we're going to stop is if we move forward ourselves. And the onus is on the government to prove that these lockdowns are necessary. It's not up to us. Exactly. They need to prove to us that this is an emergency. I sent fire trucks and went up to fight the fire in Fort McMurray, the Beast they called it. And when we went up there was obviously an emergency, but we knew when that emergency was going to end was when the fire was under control and people were ready to move back in. Every time you have an emergency to start, you have an emergency to end. So we want this end, and we want to know what that end is. No, I'll give you one more quick firefighting scenario, because that's my world. You know, you don't, if you have a pot on the stove in a kitchen, you go in and you send 1 or 2 firefighters in there and you take off the pot, or you put it out with a little bit of water. So, and the first thing we always worry about is health and safety for any fire, right? That's number one, we get that. But the other thing we got to mitigate is the damage. We don't go in there with 1,000 or 10,000 gallons of water and pour everything over the house and destroy the house. So what they're doing with this lockdown is they're not looking at the economic part of it. They're only looking at the health, which is important. We get that. But we need to look at the other side of it and figure out how to come out of it. And they should have had chief economic people involved with the lockdown, or with how to end the lockdown, with the emergency response. I can't remember the guy's name that was the last emergency response guy. Somebody yell it out. I don't know. Thank you. I keep forgetting. That guy is a smart guy. He said this lockdown, this emergency response is a joke. It's wrong, and I believe that. So I still look at Premier Kenney's profile picture, and I see him shaking the hands of seniors through a glass with a mask on. And I say, you're out of touch. That is cruel to your seniors. Cruel. We can't go see our kids. The minute you can't walk into a school and see your kids at any given time, I don't care if you have to put a hazmat suit on if you think that that's going to help you. But if you can't go in and see what your kids are doing, see what they're being taught, and go and see our seniors if they want you to see them, we have a huge problem with freedom. It's okay to talk about carbon tax being constitutional, that we got to keep that, but when it comes to our freedom, they don't care about our Constitution. A little bit of hypocrisy. The word of 2020 has definitely been hypocrisy, without a doubt. I went to visit a good friend of mine who was in a car accident. She was in the foothills for 3 months. While they were telling us that the hospitals are overloaded, we sat there and looked out the windows at the hospital bays and the hallways, and it was crickets, using her word. So they're not telling us the truth. I worked at the City of Red Deer. We've been doing hallway medicine for 15 years because the Red Deer Hospital is always over capacity. There's a ward right now that's in Red Deer that has 48 open beds. So the problem isn't COVID, the problem is the healthcare system that we all know needs to be fixed. So how do we get out of this? I think the only way for us to get out of this is for us to move forward in a normal, and there's no new normal. Forget the new normal. We need to get back to the rodeos. We need to get back to we've got a spring fling up April 3rd. Outdoors, come and enjoy it. And that's the only way we can move forward, is if we start taking our own action to move the needle forward. Because they did a survey on Daniel Smith and the Western Standard, and 70 to 74% of the people were in favor of ending the lockdowns now. So remember, exactly, we are the majority. Stop letting them tell you that we're not. And please, if they ask us to do another lockdown for businesses, don't. And what I'm going to say is, you need to take the responsibility for yourself, because that government will not be there to bail you out when you're broke. Guaranteed. They won't be there. They're not going to come to you and say, here's $100,000. Sorry for our mistake. Keep your businesses open. Let's keep moving forward. Let's be the change. God bless everybody, and have a great day and enjoy the sunshine.